I remember connecting with this one guy from Amazon who was working there as a PM itself. And when he looked at my resume, he said that, your resume resonates with the kind of resume using which I applied to Amazon.
And you said something very interesting. On August 15th, you applied to Microsoft. And you said you landed in August. You were applying during the worst job market ever, which is August 2023. A lot of layoffs, a lot of there's no jobs. How many interview calls did you get versus how many application? It took you almost 9 months to get an internship since the day you were starting to apply. What kept you going? Like, why did you not give up?
For the other kind, where you already do all the research, go through 4 or 5 rounds of interview, envision yourself working at that company one day, and then they just tell you that you were a perfectly good candidate. It's just that we did not have enough openings.
Obviously, you have gotten the interview calls during the peak recession, so something amazing is about your resume, which is getting you the interview calls. You took the principles I teach and you actually freaking implemented it, and look at the result. Before you watch this, I want to quickly say that most people underutilize LinkedIn. They don't understand the power of LinkedIn and how to leverage LinkedIn to get jobs. I have built an ultimate course. It's going to teach you everything from optimizing your profile, getting sourced by a recruiter on LinkedIn. There are live examples, and also how to use LinkedIn and leverage LinkedIn to create the job opportunity that didn't even exist. You didn't even know that it existed. Let me give you a quick sneak peek, and I will tell you that more than 350 students have joined this course and they are loving it. And you can see everything from setting your profile, networking, search techniques, job hunting technique, and like live examples where I'm actually reaching out to people and doing cold networking, etc. You'll also get free plugin, premium plugin for H1B and OPT and all of that. So I highly recommend you check out. Link will be in the description. All right. Thank you, Richa, for doing this. I am a fan already, and I can't wait to let people know your story and share your journey and your wisdom. And before we do that, let's like give a quick intro. Where are you from? When did you come to United States? What do you do right now? And fun stuff.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I'm an even bigger fan of you. So yeah, and so just telling a little bit about my background. So I hail from Ranchi, Jharkhand in India.
Mm.
I have done my undergrad in computer science from VIT Vellore, and after that, I worked for 3 years at Shell as a software engineer in Bangalore. After that, I decided that I wanted to pursue masters and was looking at potential MBA, MEM programs. And then I found MEM to be a better fit for me because I wanted to get into product management. So then I came to the United States last year in during the fall intake, and I'm currently doing MEM at Dartmouth. Apart from that, I'm also working as a product manager on campus at the Dali Labs, which is in Dartmouth, which is very popular here. So yeah, so that's about
Okay.
me.
And if audience cannot tell already, you are a true PM, like so structured and so like thoughtful answer, concise answer. So I'm excited. I might have to do more digging to like get to real you,
Yeah.
but hopefully you are. Oh yeah. So you haven't completed your masters yet, is it?
Mhm. Yes, that's correct. I graduate this fall will be my last term. So I graduated this December.
Oh, December. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your last semester. Nice. And for people who are asking for Dartmouth, we are planning on doing a video on Dartmouth, so just coming very soon once we film this video. So I'm excited to share. Where are you on campus already? Is
Yes,
this
I am on
the
campus.
background campus or your apartment?
No, this is the campus. This is how Dartmouth looks like. It's basically, beautiful buildings and then greenery all around. So this is the perfect
Yes.
way in which you can kind of describe the Dartmouth campus.
Nice. Let's get into this. So
Hmm.
you obviously have a job lined up as a product
Hmm.
manager,
Hmm.
and you got the internship, and you also, but you never had a product manager experience in India. You only had software engineer experience. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So, did you have the clarity already that you wanted to become a product manager when you were starting your MEM program, or was it like vague idea that okay, I may want to get into product, but I'm not sure.
Mm, So, like when I was working as a software engineer back at Shell, I used to closely work with my product owner, and that kind of
Mm,
introduced me to the product
mm,
management role, which was like product owner and product manager have pretty same responsibilities. So that is how I got introduced and like more curious about the role. But like back then, I did not have a lot of understanding, so I did a couple of courses and and watched a couple of videos to understand what product management is, what program management is, what product management is, project management is, sorry, and how do they like kind of differentiate, you know.
mm,
And I think after that, I got like more inclined towards product management, given that as a product manager you have the whole and sole kind of creative freedom to design the product and like see it grow. So that
yeah.
kind of excited me a lot, and that is when and then I was looking at programs that can help me get there. So I knew MBA was definitely a way, but it required like a little bit of more experience, and given that
Mm,
I just wanted to go for a master's right then,
yeah.
so that is when I
Yeah.
felt like, an MEM will also eventually help me get there. So that is how I decided
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll deep dive into this when we talk about Dartmouth and your master's journey. But it helps me understand that okay, when you landed in United States, when did you land in United States?
Uh, Around August 24th, 25th last year,
Okay, so it's only been
2023.
like
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
been like a not even a year yet. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. So you landed, but you landed with the clarity. I want to become a product
Mhm.
manager. Right. Okay.
Yes, I had that clarity, but again, like I also spoke to a couple of people and I knew how the market was. So I was open to
Mm,
getting into roles like program management as well because I wanted to keep
okay.
the
So
options
tech
open. Yeah.
management
Yeah.
role, huh?
Tech
Project
management role.
manager,
Yes.
product manager, TPM, program manager,
Yes.
that
All of
whole
that.
suite.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, cool. So now let's get into you obviously have the internship lined up. Let's talk about timeline. What is the first thing that you did when you like started your job hunting journey?
Okay, so I think the first thing, like when I was basically the recruitment process is very different in India as compared to what it is in the US.
Right.
So I first like try to figure out, what are the things that I need to do in order to secure that internship in the US. So for that, I
Mm,
just reached out to a couple of seniors, and the buzzword was networking. It was all around, and I had no idea what it meant.
mm,
Then I so like that was my first first point of contact where I got a basic high level overview of how the market is right now, and what are the some things that people do, but I had to like deep dive into the nitty gritty of that. So
and
then I
this is after you've landed or before?
Oh no, this is like before I like landed. This is all everything started when after I got my admit, and like yeah, the visa process and all of this. I started
Mm.
researching that back in like May, June.
So
So
this
yeah.
so people who are coming in fall 2024 and want an
Yeah.
internship in summer of
Yeah.
2025, this is the time they should be doing
Yeah.
what you are saying, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I'm sorry, I stop
So
you. And a lot of comments I get is like, why do you stop people? It's like I want the clarification. So, all right, sorry, I won't stop you, but continue.
um
Continue. You heard the buzzword of networking. This is
yeah.
back in India around June ish,
Mhm.
before even you landed. And continue. What else did you do?
So that was first thing, but then the next thing that really helped me was like just looking at YouTube videos, definitely like your channel, and then there were a
Mm,
couple of other channels as well, like Harnoor's Parts,
mm,
all of the people who create like study abroad content. So I just like binged watched a lot of videos, and after watching like 30, 40 videos, I realized that kind of everybody is giving the same advice, like the
mm,
steps that they follow to get an internship or to get a job is like it might vary from person to person, but the things remain the same. So that is
mm,
when like I realized that okay, I need to start by, let's say, updating my resume. But before that, I decided that I'll create a dream company list, which I think is same for everyone. But then I created
mm,
a list of like 40, 50 companies in which I would love to work someday. And then I started like just looking at job description of those companies. And like my resume was of a very software engineer tech profile back then,
Hmm.
so it did not align at all. So then I started reaching out to people in those companies. Like I started doing a little bit of targeted networking, let's say Amazon. So then I used to just reach out to people at Amazon and like just send out those connection requests, and whoever used to accept, I used to just try and learn about, because product management was also new, so I used to learn about what product management is, how they got their internship, and then lastly I would just ask for a resume review. And that immensely helped me throughout the process. Something else that really helped me with the resume thing was I just went to like open like profile of product managers and looked for resumes, gathered like 30, 40 resumes, created a resume booklet of myself, and then started tailoring my resume using that booklet. So I used to see how, because those people were like, a lot of them were also from a software engineering background, and then I used to just see how they have written their software experience in a product. And
Hmm.
then I
Hmm.
tried to replicate that, so eventually I
Hmm.
could see my resume getting there. So that was, I think, the first stage. And also the feedback of the people whom I connected with was immensely helpful, because I remember connecting with this one guy from Amazon who was working there as a PM itself. And when he looked at my resume, he said that, this your resume resonates with the kind of resume using which I applied to Amazon. So that
Hmm.
gave me, and then he opened his resume and showed that to me as well. And that gave me like immense confidence that the things that I'm
Hmm.
doing are right. And I also
Hmm.
later like got a interview call from Amazon. So it was like all check. So it after the yeah, so then I kind of just started once I felt like my resume was on point, and I had like some understanding of what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. I also had like plans to prepare for like product management intern, like interviews back in India, but that did not happen. There were just a lot of things going on. But yeah, so I just kind of got started with the process. Also applied to a couple of companies. Like I remember Microsoft had a bunch of openings back then, and that was like the first company that I applied to in like
Hmm.
August last year. And I
Hmm.
was just like very selective with, because I did not want to like apply to everything back then. So I was just very selective, only applying to top companies. And I think yeah, that this is all I did before coming here. And then once I
Wait,
came
wait,
here,
wait, wait, wait. Okay.
yeah.
You are like, what you're gonna watch is an amazing story. But before you watch that, I just want to quickly say that all of these story, I compile the key insights from these stories and all the podcasts that I do, and I put this in my free exclusive newsletter community. Every week, more than 16,000 people receive my newsletter, and they love it. And here are some of the examples. You can see this was a podcast on George Mason universities, and you can see how to network and 10% cold emailing, powerful LinkedIn techniques, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in becoming part of this exclusive newsletter community, absolutely free. Link is in the description, or you can go to udj.com/newsletter. Okay, so for people who are watching this, and you're like, this is all I did. I mean, you are underestimating what all you did, because most people will not even do 10% of what you said. I'm saying most people. There are obviously exception. People don't get
Mhm.
offended. I'm trying to just help you, but it's crazy that you did all this, and I want to like pause and just deep dive into this journey, because it's important for people to realize these steps, and these are the things that I've said in the videos, and obviously you took the advice and you have implemented
Exactly.
those things.
Yes.
So you actually took the advice and actually did what we've been saying on the video. So
Yes.
that is amazing. So okay, so you first clarified what is the roles that you want to get into, then you research what it takes to get into the company, which by watching videos, then you created this list of companies. Where did you get this list of companies? Like, how did you find it? Is it just top S&P 500, top 500 companies? Like, how did you, what was your Google search?
Yeah. So like I did not do the 500 search because I was clear that I wanted to get into tech. So I just
Hmm.
searched like top tech companies, and then just
Hmm.
like everybody knows that list, what, like it starts with Google, then Meta, then Amazon, all of the Apple,
Right.
all of that. So yeah, it was a pretty, yeah, easy,
Yeah,
straightforward search.
and I think this is a knowledge blindness. So you think that everybody might know this, but regardless, okay. So
Hmm.
you got 50
Hmm.
list of 50 companies or so.
Hmm.
Now you did this amazing thing, which is actually called outreaching people on LinkedIn. I'm
Hmm.
assuming you went
Hmm.
on LinkedIn. Is that
Yes,
correct? Okay.
yes, yes.
Now you reached out to people who are in these companies, and specifically the product manager, and also more specifically the people who transition from software to product. That
Uh,
is cool. How did you do that?
okay, so I like looked up people who transition from software to product, people who recently graduated or recently got an internship, like people with whom I could, kind of resonate with or who have been on the same journey that I have been into.
Right.
That was my
Yeah.
target profile. So how I did that was, so since I was going for an MEM, so definitely one of my searches like used to be like, let's say Dartmouth MEM, Duke MEM, and then I used to just like look at recent graduates to see how, who are the people who have like gotten internships or like who have recently graduated and are working in the companies in which I aspire to work. And that is how I used to basically just filter out the people and then reach out to them.
Okay. All right. We're gonna do this live. You were not prepared for this, but let's do this. Okay. So you
Yeah,
would
sure.
go here. You would go to
Hmm.
people, and then you would. Oh, sorry. And then click on.
Just. Hmm.
Yeah. And then click on school, and then you said start, and then that's the school right there.
Hmm.
Now you have the list of people who are in Dartmouth. Then what's the next filter criteria which you would put, or would you just
Uh,
start looking from here?
yeah. So I would like initially in the search, I would put like Dartmouth MEM. So that kind of, helps me narrow down my search in the first place.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And now I just get a list of profiles of people who have like either graduated, I know like all of them, but yeah, who have like graduated or recently yeah, moved into an internship or something. So then I used to just look at, what they are doing and then like open their profile and
Mm,
then
mm.
like do a deep dive of like
So
if it
you spend
matches with
time
my experience.
actually. Right. So you actually spend time in, like, not after this, you actually spend time, for example, let's like I'm picking someone, let's say
Hmm.
Sophia.
Hmm.
And it's like, Sophia, hi, if you're watching this video. If you would go there and then you'll be like, okay, she worked for Goldman Sachs, product manager. She that is in my list, and I want to go and talk to her,
Yeah.
and then you would outreach her. Is that the approach?
Yes, 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 that is the approach. And it also helped me in another way was I could like I remember in one of the previous conversations you mentioned like my LinkedIn was also optimized in a good way. And this is what
Mm,
helped me optimize my LinkedIn because I looked at like so many people's LinkedIn profiles and how they have mentioned their experiences, what things they have mentioned, that I used to just pick up whatever I liked and then, kind of modified my LinkedIn profile in a way. And
mm,
it always leads to something interesting because there are just so many things happening in Dartmouth as well, and Dartmouth seniors used to just mention in their activities or something like extracurriculars, and I just got curious like what is this? Maybe I'll do further research. So it helped me in like multiple ways to like scan these
mm,
profiles in detail
mm,
rather than just doing a filter and then just looking at a small search as well.
mm. Love it. Okay. And so now let's talk, because this, after this, everyone hopefully does it and not just binge watch this, but hopefully they do it. And that also means they're going to reach out to you. What cold message did you send them that you got the
Mhm.
response from these people to actually not just respond to you, but also get on a call with you to talk to you and all of that? We will get into that part. But what was the message like? Do you have a template, or do you remember what did you send them?
Yes. So definitely, like I just created a template of the different messages that I used to send. But the initial message was like 200 or 300 characters long. So that would just be like, hi, I'm an incoming MEM student at Dartmouth. I am interested in getting into product management. I really resonate with your past experiences and would just love to connect with you. That is how I used to start the connection. And once that used to happen based on who the person was, if it was a senior person or like just an MEM senior, I used to kind of then just like thank the person for accepting the connection request and then like take the conversation from there, that like this is something that I found interesting in your profile and this is something that I would like to learn more about. And hence, like, it would be great if we can just hop on, in a call of 15-30 minutes based on your availability to, discuss it further. And
Mhm.
I think, yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I just tried to make it, specific to that person, like the messages a little bit more specific to that person, rather than sending like a very generic message of would love to just, talk to you or something like that. Yeah. So I just looked at their profile, found something interesting, and then, yeah, spoke about that in the message.
Mm. I'm such a you are amazing. I love because you are doing actually what I always say, all these things in the videos. And sometimes I'm like, I wonder people are gonna even do this, and like this makes my heart so happy. So
Yeah.
uh, and so another thing is that you actually took the time to, when you send the connection request, you're telling me you actually use the 300 free characters that are given to you, and you just didn't
Mhm.
send the request. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
show one more time my profile. Here we go.
Mhm.
um,
That's a deal
eh,
breaker. Like, yeah, even I get so many connection requests, and the ones with the message are the only ones that catch my attention, unless you work at Google and you have a super fancy, like, job attached. Yeah.
yeah, and the reason, and I'm not trying to like pick on these
Yeah.
people, but like look at this. I have
Yeah.
7,000 freaking requests. Like now I stopped because I was like, "Ooh, what is this? What does
Yeah.
he want to say?" And of course he's trying to
Yeah.
like and I'm not gonna have time. If you really want to connect with me, send a message. Like I'm just gonna keep going until I see a message and it's like, oh, he wants to talk about auto approve, like, which is my company, and so on and so forth. And so anyway, like the reason I'm emphasizing on this is because even though I've made thousands of videos on this topic, that don't send the request without three using that 300 characters, because people don't know who you are. So you actually
Hmm.
took time. What I love is that you actually took time to personalize that message. Then they accepted it. Then you even sent thank you message that, hey, thank you
Yeah.
for accepting it. This is what I truly love about your profile.
Hmm.
So even
Hmm.
more personalization. And
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, it would be amazing if we can do like a quick 15-minute call. Why would someone say no? Like, it's like, you're so sweet. Like I wouldn't want to say no to you. So
Yeah.
you like, you're a true product person, because you analyze the user and then, then attacking
Yeah.
them with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
So
Yeah.
when I was like just trying to understand what networking is, it was just so ambiguous to me. And, I just used to take every advice that people gave to me. And one of that advice was, to just send a thank you note, because like they just said, like, think of yourself being in their shoes and think, like, wouldn't it be nice if that person just sent like a thank you note saying something nice
Mm,
to you? Like, so that is how I started, thinking after that, that maybe, the things like that is how networking should be. It should be, more of a conversational, a
yeah,
balance of
yeah,
both. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and personalized. I think personalized is the word. Like you're not just using some standard template, and like, yes, use the template to frame your question or the thought, but then personalize it to
Yeah.
the person you are sending it, and
Personal.
you're really building a relationship. Okay, cool. Sorry, like enough saga on this. And this podcast is going to be like a very long, because you have so many insight, and I want to steal it all from you.
Hmm.
But okay, so you found that, you send them, now the conversation happens. Were you so what preparation did you do for that conversation? Because I feel like like knowing you,
Yeah.
you probably prepared for the call.
Hmm.
And what kind of preparation did you do? What kind of things you were asking them?
Yeah. So based on the kinds of profiles with whom I connected, I already know that that person has already done something, like has kind of pursued the same path or something that I am
Hmm.
interested in. So that was definitely something in common. I had a bunch of questions in general that I was looking for, like, how to get into product management, how did you get your internship, what are the things that you did, what resources you used, how do you network was also a question in the initial days. So all of that I already had prepared, but then I used to just like make that customized for that person, like let's say Amazon. So then, how did you get into Amazon, how was your internship, and all of those things. So I kind of just looked at the profile and found interesting things, and then just spoke about that during the call. So that was one. And towards the end, I would definitely just, I always like, because it's like whenever you are in a call, you are like asking questions, 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 questions. And it's like you're just trying to, get a lot, or like get
Mm,
the things that you want to know from that person. So I
mm,
always try to just ask a question, is there anything that you would like to know? And oftentimes people do have questions about you and your profile, and they
mm,
are also like curious about your experiences as well, and you would be surprised to know that even they are
mm,
interested in knowing things. So yeah, I just try to like have ask that question towards the end as well, to just not make it sound very transactional. So yeah, that is how I
mm.
used to go for these coffee chats.
Nice. And then, of course, you had that coffee chat, and then at the end, you
Yeah.
would, or at the end, or maybe next call, perhaps you would say, like, "Can you take a look at my resume and give me feedback?" Which is amazing
uh
strategy. Oh, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, generally, like towards the end of the same call, I used to
Mm,
just politely ask if you would be open to like spending 5-10 minutes on my resume, or if it's okay, I can send you the shared Google Doc link of that, and maybe you can just provide comments based on that. So that is how I used to kind of, yeah, go about resume
mm,
reviews. And after these calls, I always send a thank you note saying what are the
mm,
two things that I learned, or like the top three things that I learned from that conversation. Like, yeah, that is
mm.
a must. Like, I always did that. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I love it. It feels like you're a salesperson. Are you sure you're not a product person?
No, I want to get a product, not sales.
But what if you might be good at product marketing, or product also has multiple hats, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you will do a lot of vendor relationship. But anyway, okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, so you fix the resume, and now like you feel like, okay, after talking to all these people and updating resume, now is this everything you did it, you optimize your resume, you optimize your LinkedIn, all of it before coming to United States, which is mind blowing. And you said something very interesting. On August 15th, you applied
Hmm.
to Microsoft, and you
Yeah.
said you landed in August. This
Yeah.
is why I want to emphasize that when you land, and if you don't have any of this, you will feel like lost, because you're still trying to figure out United States, getting used to your roommates and all of that. And you are seeing that Richa is already applying to Microsoft and she's getting interview calls. Why am I not getting? And then you feel depressed and lonely and all of this. So
Yeah.
amazing. I love that you shared that timeline. I
Hmm.
also want to touch on this one thing that I think there's a hesitation of people, that, or not hesitation, when they are sending all this request, and probably people are not responding to them, for some reason, whatever. People are busy, they're not responding, not everyone is going to respond. How did you deal with that?
Hmm. So
Or
I
did
think
everyone respond to you? I guess let's start there.
no, no ways. Like last week only, I sent so many requests for call, and I don't have a single coffee chat this week. So I'm still figuring out what's wrong with my message.
Wait, why
But
why are you still sending that? Because you already have the internship planned. Is this like,
yeah, like yeah, I just thought that given that I have some time, why not just connect with some other people and learn about their work. So that's why I'm doing that right now. Not like
so
very actively, but
now
yeah,
there
passively.
is no agenda, you just genuinely like, I just want to talk to
Yeah.
you, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Let's like learn about the company, and like with no hidden motive of getting a referral or a resume review.
Mm,
Nothing. Just like a
mm,
conversation based on the people I find interesting. So yeah, but yeah, coming coming to your point that you
yeah.
said. Yeah, so not definitely like very few people respond, and that's kind of fair on their end as well, because everybody is busy and everybody has so many things to do. But the thing is that you just focus on like the people who reply to you, I think. Like
Mm,
for me, I used to like reach out to a targeted audience, and even from that, if like 10% replied, I knew like those 10% people are not random people. They will give me good advice based on the kind of people whom I've reached out to. So just focus on the people who reply to you. That's one, and try to get as much or whatever you want from that one conversation. Try to make the most out of it. That was one thing. The other thing is also keep a track of how your networking is going, like how many people you're reaching out to and how many people are replying to you. This kind of it's hard. Like, I'm not saying to keep like you send 200 requests and then 5 people replied, so this percentage don't. I think that maybe some people do that, and but I felt like that is just a lot to track. But just like be mindful, like let's say you have a goal of connecting with 5 people from X company, and just to get a sense of what the company is about. So keep a tab. Like once you're done with the 5 people, it's fine. You just need to get those 5 callbacks. So keep modifying your messages, keep reaching out to more people, and once you have that 5 people, okay, done. Move on to the next company, reach out to a
Hmm.
fresh set of people. So that is how I used to just go about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Just
focused
don't
on the
focus on the
action.
negative. Yeah. Don't focus
Right.
on negative. Don't focus on people not replying. Yeah.
Hmm. You focused on the actions versus the
Yeah.
outcomes. He was like, okay,
Yeah.
what can I control? I can control sending request.
Yeah.
It, I don't know if people are going to accept. I'm going to do
Hmm.
my best to send the
Hmm.
personalized messages, find the people, and send them the message. That's it.
Hmm.
Like move on, keep moving on, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
So love that. Okay, cool. So now, obviously, you landed in United States. You started applying. Let's talk about how did you get the interview calls? Was it online or referrals or both?
Um, so it was a mix of both. Also, like once I came here, like, applying became more of an active thing. And then
Hmm.
also, like there were a lot of sessions organized by our seniors as well that gave us a lot of perspective on how applications are going to be. There were seniors telling us they applied to 1,000 jobs, heard back from 5. So, those sessions really helped us, all of us, in fact, to be in the right mindset that it's not going to be easy for any of us. So so yeah, just like taking all of the advice, because whatever I was doing back in India was all by myself, by my own research, but here I had a lot of other people going through the same thing, plus the seniors who had just gotten their internships and they came back from their internships. So it was like a lot of fresh advice, fresh perspective. So I took all of that in, and of course, like in the fall term, it was a combination of all. So it was like applying as soon as the posting is done, and I used to track that using like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, all of that. And not only on the alerts that you get, but just go to the platform and also like do a search and put the filter of past 24 hours, because sometimes I feel like the alerts that you get are outdated or sometimes might not give you the results that you're looking for. But then when you go to the platform and put that search thing and like put that filter, it really, like, often, like, Glassdoor is the platform that I loved for doing all of this,
Hmm.
and it used to give me like amazing results. Yeah, I used to like mostly apply using that. So
Hmm.
Glassdoor, so yeah, just applying through that. And then given that I already had connections via networking for some companies that I wanted to work in, so getting referrals for them was relatively easy. For the other companies, I used to reach out to people again for coffee chats and then try to get a referral if possible. But yeah, applying early was the key, and I felt like that is something that worked for me in this case.
Hmm. Okay. So many questions again. Each thing that you say feels like a video itself.
Yes, you
Okay,
would know.
so
I looked at
yeah.
like 40 videos of yours.
Yes. So you said something very interesting that you
Mhm.
landed and you now got the perspective from your seniors because they organized sessions and you had more help. You like your knowledge base opened up. Okay. And so you started applying. And one thing that
Mhm.
you mentioned is you applied and still doing networking call and all of that while you are maintaining your student
Yeah.
journey and cooking and cleaning and roommates
Yes.
issues, big boss issues, and all of that. So
Okay. Yeah.
how much time did you spend every day, if at all you spend every day, on the job application or like internship applications?
Um. So, like for applications, I used to spend, let's say, an hour or two per day depending on how my schedule was. And like while applying, I like different people had different approaches. I had friends who focused on like quantity over quality. Like, in 1 hour their goal was to apply for 30 internships. On the other hand, for me, it was I'll apply to 5, but I'll customize my resume for those 5 and apply properly in
Hmm.
fall. That was my approach in fall, because and that really helped me, because after like custom and spending that time and customizing my resume for each job description, after a point of time, no matter what job description you give me, my resume used to, have a good number of matching keywords in that. And it used
Hmm.
to make sense. It did not look like keyword, keyword, keyword. It made sense. So yeah, so that really helped me in fall, like doing that, even though I used to apply relatively to fewer companies, but yeah, I used to customize it. So yeah, so I used to like spend around 2 hours for just like modifying my resume and then applying. And then the second part is like reaching out to people and networking. So let's say an hour or two, depending on again the how the day looks like. And then if like I had an interview or something, then yeah, I used to just like sidetrack everything and like spend as much time as I can for that interview or for that call. So yeah, that's
Hmm.
it. That's it. Yeah.
And of course, you were doing assignments and
Yes.
cooking and
Yes.
cleaning
Yes.
and all of that.
Yeah. 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 Totally.
That's amazing. And the reason I ask is again, I've probably
Mhm.
said this amazing because I'm just amazed by you. So sorry, people, if they're like, oh, Yudi, maybe people should count how many times I said amazing. But I and the reason I was asking this is because I want people to know how much time it takes, and I also like that you did spend time customizing it, so quality over quantity,
Mhm.
which is good. um,
Yeah.
you were applying during the worst job market ever,
Mhm.
which is August 2023. A lot of layoffs, a lot of there's no jobs. How many interview calls did you get versus how many application? Do you remember, like roughly?
Yeah, I think I remember. I would have like from the beginning when I started applying, let's say in August last year to the time I got my internship, like in those whole like let's say from August 2023 to March 2024, in those I don't know how many months, but yeah, in those months, I would have applied to around like 200 to 250 internship opportunities, all across, like from product, program, project, sometimes product owner also. So all of these roles, and I got like there were like different kinds of callbacks. Like some were for only for video interview, and then I did not move on to the next round. For some, like it was for all rounds. Some for online
Hmm.
assessment for some companies. So like I think including all, I would have gotten around like 10 or 12 callbacks, including
Hmm.
everything. Yeah, yeah,
That's not bad. That's not bad. Like
yeah,
10 to 12
yeah,
calls is not bad. And especially when the market was so rough.
yeah.
What would you say? Again, I know I'm throwing you like very off topics because why not? uh, the- what would you say to people who are struggling and who are looking at the market and who are planning to come in 2024? Because I'm assuming these
Hmm.
are for the people who are planning to watch this in 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe people will watching later on as well. What would you tell them, because they are like so hung up on that market is so tough, there's no jobs, and media
Yeah.
is even making it even worse, especially Indian medias are like making
Mhm.
it so drastically high. Like I was like, you should not go to USA.
Mhm.
I'm like, bhai
Mhm.
sabka nahi hai. Like there are people who are still getting jobs, right? So
Yeah.
what would you say, like what any thoughts on them?
Yeah. I think like in my batch itself, like different, like all 50, there are 50, 55 is our batch strength. So everybody has gone through a very unique journey. So when you
Mm,
come as well, I think you will have your own unique journey. But I
mm,
think the sooner you start, the better it's for you because, once you start, you get to know what's working out for you, what's not working out for you. And given that
mm,
you start in India, you're already ahead of other people, like you say, anyways. So yeah, so just getting back to the point. So I think rather than getting hung up on the fact that the market is bad, maybe you can think of what you can do and what you can start
mm,
doing from today to get that internship or to get that offer that you want. So I think, yeah, starting ahead is one thing. And then just reaching out to the people, talking to the people. I know like people are kind of shy or hesitant to, just like reach out to people and talk to them. But that is immensely helpful. I was also one of them who was like, why do I need to talk? But then like every conversation that I've had has immensely helped me, and it helps me
mm,
even today. So I think, yeah,
mm,
definitely reaching out to people who are doing the same things will like definitely help you, and you'll be like 10 steps ahead of other people. So I think, yeah,
mm,
these are the some things. And then like lastly, I would say I feel like no matter what you do, I think there's also a timing and luck factor. Like it will happen when it has to happen. So yeah, just be patient and just keep giving your best. Is I know it's hard,
mm.
very hard, but yeah, just keep, yeah,
Mm.
giving your best is all you can
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, two questions. One, you mentioned 50-55 batch. How many of
Mhm.
them do you feel like have an internship? Do you know?
Very controversial topic, but I feel like a good number of people have gotten internships. People are not really like very transparent about, what's going on with their process in the back end. But now that we have like our internships lined up in less than a month, I feel like a good number of people have gotten internships. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say like at least
Yeah.
50%?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Easy. Okay.
Not in, maybe not in their dream companies or in their dream roles, but
Sure.
everybody has
Yeah, but they
something. Yeah.
have something. Okay. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, the motive context behind asking is not to create controversy, more to tell, like, prove the
Just a
point further
perspective.
that
Yeah.
yes, there is market, and yes, people are not getting jobs and internship, but yes, there is
Hmm.
also the flip side. People are getting jobs and internship,
Yeah.
and nobody's talking
Yeah.
about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just wanted to provide that perspective. Second
Yeah.
question is, it took you almost 9 months to get an internship,
Hmm. Hmm.
since the day you were starting to apply. What kept
Hmm.
you going? Or like, why did you not give up?
Yeah, so I would say like what kept me going through this whole process was just firstly the motivation to kind of see myself where I was back in India, because when I left the perfectly good job that I had and the job that I was happy was, I had a dream to kind of, pivot into product and also live the US American dream. Like, let's say like maybe move to West Coast and then have that life which, you see people having.
Mm,
So I think it's
mm,
just that, like that aspiration that really kept me going throughout the whole process. And like, yeah, and the second thing is, I think the support from like your friend groups here. I know it's very difficult to, find friends. Like, we've basically been together for less than, let's say, like 6 to 8 months. So but then again, like having just a good set of friends to kind of talk about those experiences immensely helped me, because earlier
mm,
I, did not share a lot of what's going on with my internship and everything. But then once I started sharing, like, people were also going through a very similar experience, like
mm,
very similar
mm,
experience. And, and the fact that you get to share that with someone is also so immense, like
mm,
it's immensely
mm,
helpful, that you just
mm,
share, like, I gave that interview, this went wrong, I did not get the offer.
mm,
And that
mm,
other person understands and is there for you in that,
mm,
and that's
yeah,
extremely helpful. And then maybe they share their experience, and that makes you feel like, you're not alone in this. So
mm,
everybody is going
mm,
through the same thing, and we'll
yeah,
eventually, yeah, we'll all be fine.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, these are
yeah.
the two things.
Love it. One more philosophical question before we move on to tactical question. You
Sure.
applied to 250 jobs or so. You
Hmm.
got 12 interviews. So you
Hmm.
saw about 235 rejection emails, right? And then obviously,
Yeah.
out of 12 interview calls, maybe how many offers did you have?
So I just had like this one offer that I
Just one offer.
accepted
So
in the end.
11,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
11 rejection as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when you saw those rejections, every morning you would wake up and you would see a
Yeah.
rejection email,
Yeah.
or you would go through the final round and you didn't get the
Mm-hmm.
offer.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mental state like then, and then how did you deal with that?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
So
very deeper question. I
no,
know,
no,
like it.
not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the first, like there were two kinds of rejections, right? The first one was when you just like apply to a company and you get a reject. So
Mm,
that was a fun thing. Like, we used to just discuss that, oh, I got rejected by Adobe. Did you also get rejected by Adobe? And we used to just laugh about it, that, okay, we all got rejected. Like, yeah,
mm,
that's fine. Like, because
mm,
you just applied, right? You did not put in like your heart and soul into that application.
mm,
So it's fine that you
mm,
got rejected. It's okay.
mm,
For the other kind, where you like already do all the research, go through like 4 5 rounds of interview, envision yourself working at that company one day,
mm,
and
mm,
then they just tell you that, you were a perfectly good candidate, it's just that we did not have enough openings. That was like, yeah, that those
mm,
were like some of the hardest, or the most, I would say, the
mm,
difficult days, getting those rejects of like, and definitely from some of your dream companies. Like, I think that
mm.
even, yeah,
Hurt you more.
exaggerated the, yeah.
When I was doing my job search, I did get 6 job offers, but I also got, there was one company I really, really, really wanted it, because I was like, it was very closely aligned to what I where I see myself in the future, and it was like a
Mhm.
perfect fit. And I like went through the final round, and they just said the someone else was better than me. And because I like, even the final round was presentation round, and I presented. They had given me a case study. I presented that case study, and it was this was for product manager role as well. And yeah, and then the recruiter calls me, and that's a good part, like where she called me and they just didn't send me the rejection email,
Yeah.
but there's like, hey, do you have time to talk? And I was like, okay, maybe this is it, like I made it, like I got the offer. But then she calls me and she tells me like, sorry, we found someone, like I
Yeah.
hate to inform you, but we've got, like, unfortunately we cannot move forward because we found someone better. And that was like, I was so hurt, and I was like so sad. But then the recruiter said something which was very interesting, and I'm still grateful. I'm still in touch with her. That, yeah, Yudi, I just want to tell you that you are a great candidate. It's not you, and it's just the not right fit right now. You
Mhm.
could be another, like for another position. You might be the best fit for our company, and it's not you. It's just the circumstances. And rejection means redirection. Yes, and then she did give me some pointers on, like, this is the area where the other person did much better, and which is what we were looking for, and that was his strength versus my strength. Totally makes sense. And that helped me give the perspective of like, okay, cool, I know like what I need to improve on, and then I improved on and move on. So yeah.
Yeah. I think very similar to, what you mentioned. Like even after getting a reject, I used to kind of just introspect on some of the things that I could have done better during the interview, or something that I felt did not really, would have worked in my favor. The answers that I gave maybe during the interview. And then for the next one, I used to just like, perfect, make that more
Mm,
perfect. Yeah,
mm,
just yeah. So
yeah,
that's all.
yeah,
You have to
yeah,
go through that. I think there's no
yes,
way
yes.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for like being vulnerable. I know, like I'm stretching you like out of comfort zone, and like, Yuri, you sent me a list of questions, and this was not even in one of them. So yeah, this is like a
Yes, it was.
surprise. So okay, cool. Let's do some tactical. Resume.
Mhm,
You made, obviously you have gotten the interview calls during the peak recession. So you something amazing is about your resume, which is getting you the
mhm.
interview calls. What can you either share your resume, or can you tell like what major changes you think that these are the things I feel like worked for me?
So one thing that I would say for sure worked for me was having a product management experience on top of my resume. Like my resume
Hmm.
has my my education, like Dartmouth and then VIT, and then the next section
Hmm.
is like experience section, which starts with product manager Dali Labs, and then I just mention, like, put all the keywords that I can put for product management in that
KPI
experience.
and OKRs
KPI
and all of
roadmap.
them.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I think that is something that really worked in my favor, because in all the interviews that I got after that, one experience was something that I used to talk most about, rather than like the 3 years of experience that I had back in Shell. My 3 months of
Mm,
product management experience was taking like 15 minutes of the interview. So that is something that I think really, really, worked in my favor, having something relevant on top of my resume.
mm,
And then
mm.
definitely like optimizing the keywords in the description section of the resume, and then maybe like adding a bit of relevant projects. So for projects, I tried to add diversity. So there was one project which was focused on product management itself. There was other project which was focused on data and analytics, because you need to also showcase the other aspect of PM.
Yeah.
And then there was this third project which was focused on building a 0 to 1 product in a hackathon. So
Mm.
that
And
showed diversity.
all these projects are which you did during your masters.
No, all of these projects I did before my master's. So I did like a course from Next Leap in product management, which helped me get that first project. I also knew that,
Mm.
like PMs need to make, let's say, Bumble. Sorry, like my project was in Bumble. The second one was like they need to make these dashboards using Tableau and Power BI. So I did a couple of courses and then just made these dashboards for myself and then showcased that in my portfolio. So I was working towards creating this resume as well, like back in
Mm.
like those months before
Mm.
coming here. So yeah, and then like curated that, and then at the end or the bottom, it's just experience and skills section. So in the skills section, I just mentioned some of the keywords which I'm not able to mention on top, so that everything
Mm.
is yeah there in the resume.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
the common resume format.
Yeah.
You have a header, and then you have after that you have education or work experience.
Yes.
Ideally, I prefer people to put work experience over education, just because if if they do have a relevant work experience, but either works. There's no wrong or
Hmm.
right. And then
Hmm.
like you said, highlighting the relevant
Yeah.
work experience, because that's what you're applying for,
Yeah.
and then projects, and then skills and interests,
Yeah.
which we've done. And what I
Yeah.
think you also, we kind of missed out on this, is when you were in India, you actually worked, you took some courses, you mentioned it, but then those courses, you just didn't take it for knowledge, you actually implemented
Yes.
and took actions by building projects and created a
Yeah.
portfolio for yourself, which is what I say, there's the
Yes.
three things that you need: resume, LinkedIn profile, and your portfolio. And
And
portfolio, when I
portfolio.
say
Yeah.
portfolio, is exactly this, is like working on the
Yeah.
project and displaying it for people to can, then you have stories to tell in your
Yeah.
interviews.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, totally agree on that. And also, like the portfolio was something that I also leveraged as something that kind of tells my personality. Like resume is, all words, no pictures.
Mm.
But then
Mm.
portfolio is something that tells like whoever is looking at that, I'm not sure like what's the click through rate of my portfolio on my resume. But then it's something that, tells you who I am as a person. So it has my projects and my skills, but then also my interests, my personalities, and then some of the other things that I do beyond work, so that it kind of
Mm.
gives you a cohesive appearance as a candidate.
Right. Do you have a website by any chance?
Yes, 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 that's the portfolio. Yeah, I
Oh
can show
wow.
that to you as well.
Yes, please. I would
Yeah.
love to see it.
Yeah, so this is what my portfolio looks like. So it's like, hi, I'm
Mm.
Richa, download my resume. This is the first thing. And then it's like, who am I? And then it just talks about like a master's of engineering management student, who likes to work cross functionally in multinational teams and have experience of work. Like I work with optimization and innovation while being mindful and inclusive. So just like a brief description. But then I've also mentioned what I do outside work, and I've added like some cool
Mm.
pictures for people to
Mm.
kind of like amaze them, because like not everyone does this and not everyone mentions it in their
Mm.
portfolio website. So I just thought it would be nice to mention something beyond work. And then this is the section where I've added like all my product projects and like data analytics projects. So it's basically a Notion. I was also trying to learn Notion back then, so I did it in Notion. Yes. So this has like the different projects, and once you click on it, it's very detailed. Like it gives you the presentation deck that I created, but then it also tells you the process of how I, created this thing. And it also has all the, I used whimsical as well. Yeah. So it has all the whimsical links so that it adds like that credibility aspect to it, that I only built it, and, I was learning and building
This
something
is
at the
so
same time.
good. So good. I would
Yeah.
hire you in a minute if you would have sent me as a hiring manager,
Yeah.
because I hire as a hiring manager. We
Hmm.
are like right now hiring for product manager too. So don't apply because we don't sponsor visa. But but
Okay.
regardless, like
Yeah.
like yeah, you, this is exactly what I would look for. And
Yeah.
if you would have sent me this, like I would be so impressed. But sorry, keep
Yeah.
going.
So yeah, this was about the work, and I had a similar thing. If I just go to my website, yeah. So I had a very similar thing for data and analytics dashboard as well. So these were like, this was for the product one was, with a course that I'd taken. So that was
Hmm.
very structured. This data analytics and dashboarding was only out of personal interest. So I just kind of brushed up on Power BI, Python, and Tableau, and just created, let's say, like one visualization for each to just
Mm.
showcase that, I know how to create a dashboard. I know how, like, a visualization works. And then I also mentioned key findings just to like make it more professional and not be like, it's just a dashboard, what do I interpret out of it? So I added like a problem statement and then like key findings from that, so that it looks like a cohesive project. But this was all
Mm.
like out of personal interest. Yeah.
Mm.
And so that was there. And then just coming back to my like portfolio ahead, then it just talked about my expertise in product management, data analytics, and interpersonal skills. And then I had added some testimonials, some of the best testimonials that I'd received from, like some of the leads in my previous company. So yeah, that was there. And then I think this part was like more like my resume, so it had work experience and education, so this was boring. And then there were achievements, I think just a couple of awards that I had gotten by winning
Mm.
hackathons back in college, and then also at Shell, so that was there. And then just like some community aspect of it as well. So I use this portfolio website also for my applications to like all the colleges in the US, and like I knew that community aspect was also something that they really valued. So I like had created this section for my college application, but then I felt like maybe, just I just decided to continue it further because uh, I feel like yeah, some people really value it, and it's like good to showcase the work that you have done in this aspect as well. So that's there, and then just like a contact thing, basic. So yeah,
Mm.
that's
Mm.
what my portfolio
Eh,
looks like.
so good. Okay. This
Yeah,
is so good. And what impresses me most is that you have had this before coming to United States.
yeah,
Um, and you're telling me you had zero work experience as a product manager. But when I look at that, I am convinced that you are a product manager. So that is the secret sauce. Because I
yeah,
told you like when we were meeting for the first time, I was like, there must be some secret sauce that everyone is saying that I'm not getting internship, but you got it. What is it?
hmm,
And now
hmm,
I know what it is. So is the preparation that you did before coming to
yeah.
United States.
Hmm.
Let's quickly talk about the interview process.
Sure.
How did you prep for it?
So I mostly used like online resources. So there's definitely Exponents was one platform. Like that was a go-to platform for all the preparation and interview questions as well. But then apart from that, I think just normal YouTube search. And then there were a couple of other paid courses that I did,
Mm,
which and then I just created notes, my own like I just referred to all these online available resources. And then based on that, I created my own template of, let's say, if I get a product metrics question, this is how I will answer. Like, just took the best out of all those videos, and then yeah,
yeah.
curated that for myself. And so after that, I kind of just started doing mocks.
Sorry to
Yeah.
stop you. The one thing is that's called story bank, which is what I've said it in the
Yes.
videos. Is like create a story bank so that way when they say, "Can you tell me a situation where you had a conflict with your colleague?" and so that you had a
Yes.
situation already. Can
Yeah.
you tell me a situation where you failed a project? Can you tell me so and so? Because that's what product managers are going to be tested on. So amazing
Yes.
that you created a story bank of your own framework that this is
Yeah.
situation, action, task,
Yeah.
result. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So exactly, I did that. And then once that was done, I also started like just doing mocks with, people going through the same journey. So like definitely I used to do mocks with my some of my friends over here, but then also like I also used to connect with professionals beyond, like people who are maybe, let's say, switching between jobs. They already have 6 years of PM experience, but then those interviews were the mock interviews were something that helped me immensely because those people
Mm,
had a very different perspective of, their framework was like much better than mine, and like the way they answered was also very nice. So that I leveraged that and then like updated my framework again, and just like yeah, it iterated the process. So I think yeah, that is how I mostly prepared for the interviews. And definitely I think company research is another third very, very, very important aspect here in the US. You need to just feel like you have already worked in the company for 5 years before even giving the interview. So you need to know the culture, the teams, or at least the team that you are working for. And if it's a company, let's say like Amazon, then you need to have a high level understanding of the products that the company offers, who are the customers, and like all of the PM aspects of it. So yeah, that's
mm,
basically how I prepared for it.
nice. Let's break down the interview process for product management internships.
Mhm.
Yeah, like walk us through what is the interview process?
So again, I think it varies from company to company. So for some companies, the first round will be an email from the recruiter asking you to just schedule a 15-minute chat, or they'll just send you a list of questions and you just need to like reply on that email. So that's how I think the process gets started. The next round varies. For some companies it was an online assessment, for some it was a video interview, and for some it was a direct one-on-one person interview. So yeah, that is how it is. And of course, like after the online assessment, if you again get selected, you move on to the video, like one-on-one interviews. Everything was virtual in my case because I was in Hanover. So yeah, everything was virtual. And the interview rounds, I would say, again, for some companies it was like, you have one round in 1 week, then next round in next week, and like going forward. So you used to always have to like wait for that email at the end of the week to hear back. For some it was like three interviews back to back, 1.5 hours, you're done with the process. So it also kind of varied. And yeah, after that I think you just have to wait, and if you don't hear back in like a certain number of days, you just assume that that's not working out. So just, yeah, get back
Move
into
on to
the
the next
game,
one.
start
Yeah.
applying. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, move on to the next one. That's all.
Right. Yeah. What are some of the questions that like you got during the interview process? You don't obviously have to give your specific service now, but
Yeah,
like what are some of the questions? Like, okay, these are definitely common questions that get asked during the
yeah.
interview.
So definitely for PM interviews, like I, even though like I did prepare a lot of product management specific questions like metrics, product design, product strategy, I was not asked a lot of those questions. Like maximum questions were behavioral questions. Like tell me about a time when you did so and so and so, and a lot of them were related to management. So tell me about a time when you worked in an agile team. So it was a very open ended question, and you just have to like talk about a project, and then they kind of break that down. Okay, so then let's say you did this, so then tell me about a time when something did not go right, and then how you dealt with that in that particular project. So I think mostly it was behavioral questions, and the questions were like mostly about communication, keeping stakeholders informed. Conflicts was a very famous interview question, like conflict with the manager, team member, all of that. I think, yeah, then agile was also a very popular thing. Like, how do you work in agile teams and Scrum, all of that. Um, I think that was it. And then there were few questions like, but I think that was dependent more on the team. So it was around like accessibility. How do you make or how will you make the
Mm,
product more accessible? What are your thoughts on accessibility?
mm.
So it was,
Interesting.
but I think that was a bit of team specific question. And yeah, I think that's pretty, but yeah, behavioral questions were a big chunk of the interview process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, intro slide is like I looked that I got the inspiration to create that from your video only because there was someone who said that they created an intro slide to kind of, just show
Mm,
when they give the introduction. So I
mm,
did that
mm.
and I got good response from that. Like I
Uh,
was interviewing for this product
I
marketing
need to
manager
send this to Samyukta. She's the one who shared
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
she would be so happy that
Yeah.
you took the inspiration. But okay,
Yeah.
so you made the intro slide. I mean, you
Mhm.
actually could, even in your case, you instead of even making intro slide, you could just take them to your website. And I was like, okay, let me share my can I share
Yeah.
my screen and then show the website? But even though you made it, how did you say that I share my can I share an slide?
Um, so I used to like gauge the person. I did not make that. First of all, I did not make that for every company. It was only for my dream
Sure.
companies. And
Yeah.
then for some like some interviews are like they just want to get directly into the question. Like yeah, this is what I'll ask, and they're not in the mood to like have a long intro conversation. But then for some, they are like tell me about yourself. And that is when I used to be like, okay, can I share my screen? And then I used to just like show that whole
Mm,
thing while I was
mm,
talking. So but I got an amazing response for doing that. I was actually
mm.
interviewing for this product marketing manager position. And like she was super impressed looking at that thing because she was like, you clearly know how to market yourself. So yeah, but that was an
I
amazing
am
thing that I took from
the,
your video.
you make me so happy because I'm like my heart is happy because as a teacher, like I consider myself
Yeah.
as a teacher, right? Like I'm teaching these
Yeah.
things, and you took the principles I teach and you actually freaking implemented it, and look at the results. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Like yeah, this is amazing. I love it. Okay, most important question, paisa, like do product managers make money? uh, what is the salary range that people
Hmm.
make as a product management intern? You don't have
Hmm.
to tell me yours, obviously.
Yeah. I think it's a very wide range, and it depends on a lot of factors like the number of experiences that you have, the location where you're working, the company, all of the budget of the company for the interns that year, all of that. But to give, I think, a rough number, it would range somewhat from around $25-$30 to, let's say, as high as $70-$80.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
70,
per hour.
$80?
Yeah, yeah. Some companies do.
What? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just calculating 17 to 40. Um, I mean, sorry, I'm just doing 17 to
yeah,
40, so
yeah.
$2,800 for one week. That would
Into four
be 20
weeks.
into four. That would be $11,000 for just an internship. Oh my gosh! Do you know
Yeah.
people who have made this?
Like I know that Amazon pays really well, so I know Amazon is one company.
Okay, and I need
Yeah.
I need to just tell my boss like
But
interns are making
no.
this much money. What is going on? I need to.
Yeah, but then I think it's a trade-off as well for some companies which pay well, the work culture is not good. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
also
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
trade-off that you need to, yeah. Money is not everything. You also need
Yeah.
to be mindful of what your priorities are and what you're looking
Yeah, yeah, I could do the whole video on that, but
for.
um, before we close, this has
Mhm,
been mind blowing. I just again amazing conversation. I can't wait to do conversation on Dartmouth because I know it's going to blow my mind. But before we close, any one piece of advice or anything you would like to share to international students or aspiring product managers?
mhm. Like I think I already mentioned a bit of it earlier, but I think the best advice would be to start early, understand what's working for you, what's not working out for you. Keep, you know, like gauging your strategy and changing your strategy from time to time. If things don't work out, that's okay because I think everybody is almost on the same boat as you. Some might get it early, some might get it late. Everybody is going to get there. So yeah, just like yeah, have a positive mindset and keep learning and keep going. That's all. Yeah.
Nice. And watch my videos and implement,
And
put
watch,
in work.
yes, watch your videos. Like just, I remember binge watching all your videos like on one Saturday, Sunday, like 40 videos, and they were all like an hour long. So I
Yes.
literally watched and I was able to see that pattern and made notes,
Yeah.
all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, watch
You know,
your
it's funny because there was a time when people complained that who's gonna watch your 1 hour video? And I'm like, I know there are specific set of people who would appreciate the minute details that like this one, right?
videos.
And those are the people I want to attract. I don't care about the people who just want like 5 minutes of like American life. Like that's not
Hmm.
who I am, and I don't want to attract those people. So thank you for being an amazing student of my videos. You are like you made me validated for what I do, and it's
Hmm.
amazing. But
Yeah.
and anyway, thank you. You are an inspiration to many people. Can't wait to bring you back. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was like super fun, like, learning from your videos and kind of just telling about my experience of how I leveraged the, things that I learned from your videos and somehow how it helped during my journey. So, yeah, thank you so
Hmm.
much for making these videos and, yeah, just making these podcasts.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Um, Again, love it. I can't wait to do this again until our next one.
Keep smiling, keep hustling.
Nice.